Today on TNT Big Show, it's a fight between the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch 2. All today on TNT Big Show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is Sean.
Welcome to TNT Big Show, and let's get right into the video. And the Steam Deck has a lot of fans, and they're trying to say that it's more powerful than the Switch 2. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. This is not a knock on the system itself, which, unlike what the video game media tells you, the Steam Deck is a portable PS4, and a very good portable PS4. So I'm not going to knock the Steam Deck at all. This is not about knocking down the Steam Deck. This is just being honest and fair. The Switch 2 runs Cyberpunk, one of the most demanding games on the market, at 1440p docked, 30 frames per second, 1080p, 40 frames per second. I think they'll get it up to 60 frames in a patch later. Handheld, 1080p, 30 frames, 720p, 40 frames. The Steam Deck, when you have it on 800p, it can run Cyberpunk at 25 to 30 frames per second. More likely 30 frames per second. But at 720p, you can't get it above 30 frames per second. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. On the Switch 2, it looks cleaner. There's more color. There's more anti-aliasing. The image is cleaner. There's more texturing. There's more light reflections, ray tracing and stuff. The game just looks better on the Switch 2. And that's not the only one. Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy looks better on the Switch 2 than it does the Steam Deck.
It looks better than the Xbox Series S, the PlayStation 4, and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Not an opinion, a fact.
Yeah. It gets murky with the PS5 because in some senses the Switch 2 version actually looks a little better on Cyberpunk, especially on some of the shadows and reflections and stuff. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
You know, but I can see if somebody told me, like, well, I think the PS5 version looks better. You know, I'd be like, well, not in some senses, but I can understand.
Understand that. But when you say, I think the Steam Deck, the PS4, or the PS4 Pro, and the Xbox Series S are more powerful, then I suggest you get a reverse lobotomy.
Or get some quadfocals.
No. Get the James Webb Telescope to make you some glasses.
I mean, like I said, we're not here to knock down the Steam Deck.
No.
That's not what this is at all. Number one, you have to remember, the Steam Deck came out in 22. But another thing, the Steam Deck uses kind of older architecture, more like 2017 to 2018 chips and architecture. The Switch 2 uses 22 to 2023 chips, which are much more advanced. The mobile chips from 2015 to 19 made big leaps for mobile chips. But the ones from 2019 to 2023 made huge leaps. This is something a lot of people don't take into account.
Right.
They just take raw numbers, which is misleading.
Right.
You can have a slower CPU clock speed on a newer chip because it's going to be more efficient. It uses better technology and it runs better.
The only thing, and see, we're being honest here and fair, the only thing the Steam Deck outdoes the Switch 2 on is, and it's just the true battery life.
Yeah.
The battery in the Steam Deck does last longer than the Switch 2. I mean, it just does.
There's one more thing that it has, and that's 4 more gigabytes of internal memory. It has 16 gigabytes, whereas the Switch 2 has 12 gigabytes. But the fact is that the Switch 2 games just look better.
Better, they do.
They run at a higher resolution, higher frame rates. Even the Steam Deck OLED can only go up to 90 frames a second, which is still great. But the Switch 2 can go up to, depending on the game, 120 frames per second using VRR.
And
portable.
4K.
Yeah. Steam Deck OLED even is 800 to 900p, which is a very good display, by the way. But the Switch 2 is a 1080p screen with HDR to make it look more like an OLED screen. And VRR, so that way there's minimal to no draw distance, no tearing in the scenery, and the frame rate double that of the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And that's why I laugh at people when they get onto the price of the Switch 2, because it is a more powerful Steam Deck. Because you get 256 gigabytes of memory, and people are like, well, the Steam Deck has 256. Here's the thing. The Steam Deck has traditional micro SD memory. The Switch 2 has more on the lines of SSD memory. You know, it's a little bit slower, just a little bit, but not by much at all. You use new express cards from Samsung and SanDisk, which make the loading times 10 times faster. So when you play Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch 2, instead of waiting 50 seconds for the screen to load, you'll have 5 to 6 seconds for it to load.
And speaking of which, let's face it, Nintendo Switch 2 has two big things going its way. Number one, the games.
Yeah.
Well, three big things. Number two, it plays both as a portable and a home system.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does. And number three, the price.
Yeah.
Like, $450 is too much, $450 is too much. Well, let's see, the Xbox Series X is more expensive, the PS5 is more expensive, the PS5 Pro is more expensive, the PS4 Pro, because they're raising the prices, more expensive, but the PS4 Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro, and the Xbox Series X are all more expensive.
Right, and people keep forgetting that Nintendo Switch 2 has Joy-Cons that can do mouse controls. And those sensors cost money.
And the built-in fan to the dock.
Right.
That doesn't come cheap.
You know how much the dock is by itself, folks? To buy it? It's over $100. So that's because this dock is much more powerful than the original dock.
And it has its own, see, the regular dock on the Switch 1 doesn't have a cooler.
Yeah.
It don't. The Switch 2 one does.
Yeah, to keep it cool.
Yeah.
Because of the power of this machine, it's going to get hot pretty fast.
Yeah.
So that's why they have a more advanced cooling fan. All of this stuff is leading to a higher price.
Nice.
You know, and that's what we want as video gamers. You guys want 4K, 1080p, 60 to 120 frames per second. Well, you gotta shell out the money.
The thing is, they don't mind shelling out $700 for a PS5. They don't mind shelling out $800 for an or whatever the price it is or whatever.
Right.
You know, but they don't mind spending $2,000 to $3,000 really beefing up their PCs. But when it comes to the Switch 2, it's a toy. It's a children's toy. Children's toys shouldn't cost that much. And there's your problem.
Yeah, see, they don't look at the Switch 2 as a console. They look at it more as a toy. You know, I mean, because I saw that on WCC Tech. Some people leaving some pretty ignorant and childish comments, like, it's a child's toy. And I'm just sitting there like, it can run Cyberpunk and all these other M-rated games on it. Cyberpunk, Dusk Blood, and there's going to be more M-rated games come to the Switch 2. Yakuza.
Borderlands 4.
Yep, Borderlands 4, and who knows what else is coming. All of these games are coming to the Switch 2. It's a machine, it's a video game console and handheld for everyone. But yeah, it's just PC fanboys are losing their mind, and you should. The Switch 2 is a newer machine that uses newer tech that has newer ways to be more efficient. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm sure by the time in 28, when the Steam Deck 2 comes out, it'll be more powerful than the Switch 2. Because it's going to use more up-to-date chips and everything. So am I going to lose my mind over that? No. And yes, of course, when the Switch 3 comes out, it'll be more powerful than the Steam Deck 2.
But really, folks, when the Switch 3 comes out, I'm just going to say this. It's probably going to be like a PS5 Pro, a Switch 2 Pro. I just don't see it being that graphic-wise.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be innovation to really make it stand out, because I've always said graphics is going to hit a wall. I'll just be honest with you. I think the Xbox Series X, the PS5, and the Switch 2, I've seen PC games, they look a little better.
Yeah.
They don't blow these systems away.
No.
So I think we're going to see a stopping wall to where the graphics ain't going to be as important. It's going to be the gameplay and the innovations.
Yeah, that's what really matters the most. I think now it's shifting back to innovation. I think if graphics really didn't get much better than the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and the Switch 2, really won't matter.
No, it won't. I mean, it's, to me, that's just as good, I think, as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Because you're like, but we want more realism. Want more realism? Go outside and look around. Touch grass.
I think what will improve is ray tracing is being replaced with path tracing, and path tracing is better. I think that's what will be better in the coming systems. But other than that, it's going to be control or interactive innovation. Innovation is going to take the place of graphics as what really matters to a system. The Switch 2 is very innovative. The mouse control and the live voice chat and video chat and everything makes the Switch 2 a very innovative system. And the Joy-Cons use much better motion to make for almost perfect one-to-one motion control, something that was promised all the way back in the Wii, but now it seems like the technology is there to make it happen for the
Joy-Con, yeah.
So, guys, just enjoy this. The Steam Deck created a whole new subgenre of handhelds, the handheld PC. And no, it's not catching the world on fire in sales, but guess what? For a system that's made by the console manufacturer and only sold through mail, like you order it and they ship it out from their own warehouse. It's not at Walmart or Amazon. It's done very well. And the satisfaction rate among the consumers is really high. So that is what matters. You guys wanted this thing to destroy Nintendo so badly that you forgot that this system was not meant to do that. It was meant to be a handheld for people who wanted to take their PC games on the go. And that's a great idea. It's great for PC gamers and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. But some of you hate Nintendo so much that you just want anything to destroy it.
Yeah, I know.
And that's not going to happen.
No.
You think the Switch 2 can flop? Well, no, you're wrong. Because this is not a dedicated Nintendo console. It's a hybrid between a console and a handheld. And never, except for the Virtual Boy, but never has a traditional Nintendo handheld done bad. Never. It'll never happen.
No.
You guys can hope and pray on a star or anything else. It's not gonna happen.
That way.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, other than that, you just might as well get ready for another 100 million selling. Probably a lot more than that, but it's gonna sell through the roof, and there's nothing you guys can do about it. Just enjoy the Steam Deck, be happy that it does sell, be happy that you have it and that you can have fun with it and take your PC games on the go. Stop obsessing about a machine that can destroy the Switch or the Switch 2. It's not going to happen. This is me, Michelle Nantucket.
Suck it up, incel buttercups. You lose. And this is Sean. Have a good one.
Thank you for staying to the end of the video and watching it. If you like all of our videos, then don't you join our other social medias like TikTok, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, Thread, X, and our WordPress blog. You can also support us by joining Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where you will get exclusive content, uncut videos, behind the scenes, watch that trailer, Jack's joke of the week, and my sports input. If you join the $25 tier, I will send you an autographed copy of The Buzzies for free. If you love horror movies and independent content, we're a great place to come and visit because we love supporting other independent creators and stuff. When you support us, you're supporting people who do all of this by ourselves. Me, Michelle, I'm the editor, I'm the director of the videos, I'm the producer, Sean's the executive producer and content creator. So thank you everybody, and please look into supporting our Patreon, as it really does help out. Just $1 a month. Thank you and have a wonderful day.